Welcome, folks. We're just slowly letting folks in. We expect if you're just hopping on, you're in the right spot. The Heels at Home webinar series starts off today with our first Growing Tar Heels. And we'll get started in just a minute. We do expect about 40 folks on the call today. So just a few reminders before we do dive in. We'll ask that you stay on mute just to start. You're welcome to come on video. We'd love to see your faces. If you're multitasking, no problem there. But we do ask you just for the beginning of our time, we'll do some brief intros. And then we'll dive into our presenters, our presentations. We'll have two of those to start us out. You're welcome to use the chat to drop questions as you think of them. If you have some really great questions, though, we ask you to save those for our discussion zone time, where you can have just one-on-one time. We'll offer 3 different breakout rooms, so you can get your questions answered from the experts here today. And then we are recording. So just in case you can't join us for the entire time, don't worry, we're recording this and we'll follow up likely early next week just with a recap. Or if there's something, a great nugget that you might have missed, we'll be able to share that so you can go back and not miss that. But it is 12:03. So I will go ahead and just to get us started, we have a lot of faces on the call, a lot of staff and students here from UNC today. Thank you all for being here. So we'll just do a quick round table kind of intro of who we are and what we're doing here. And I can get us started. I'm Rosemary Roberts, and I work in new student and family programs. You might remember us from orientation over the summer. That's one of our big programs, but we also do a lot of the family engagement and family programs, and I work as a program coordinator along with Justin Insco.
Hi, folks. Justin Insco. I'm the Director of New Student and Family Programs. As Rosemary mentioned, our whole reason to be is to help students, new undergraduate, first-year, and transfer students transition to this place really well, and to create ongoing opportunities on and off campus or remotely for families to engage, to volunteer, but also learn, right? Like you are continuing to support your students throughout the entirety of their journey. So it's important for us to share with you good tools and good info so you can nudge the incredible students here doing the great work. Speaking of students, I'll turn it over to Maddie Andrea from our office as well to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Maddie. I'm a senior. I am the family fellow here in the office, so I support a lot of the family programming that we have in the office.
And hey everyone, my name is Croft. I'm also a senior with New Student Family Programs. I'm the Communications Fellow, so you might have got some newsletters from me, some ESP modules, all that fun stuff.
Let's go over to Cliff.
Hi, everyone. My name is Cliff Jones. I'm one of the senior assistant deans in UNC Advising.
And then our friends at the Writing Center and Learning Center.
Hey there, I'm Julie Wilson. So good to see you all. Look forward to talking with you. I'm the Assistant Director of the Learning Center, and I'll turn it over to Christine.
My name is Christine. I am one of the peer tutors at UNC. I'm a senior, a bio major, and I tutor across a couple of topics, including biology, math, French, and statistics.
Good afternoon. I'm Alex Funt. I'm also an assistant director in the Writing and Learning Center with the focus more on the Writing Center side. I work closely with Julie and Christine and my colleague Ella, who is one of the writing coaches and can introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Ella. I'm a senior undergrad here at UNC, and I'm also a writing coach.
All right. So I know a few folks have just joined us. We just did a brief intro of all of our UNC folks on the call. And I'm going to get us started just into our first presentation. Cliff, I will pass the torch to you to get us started.
Awesome. Thank you, Rosemary. Let me just check to make sure. Perfect. We're great to go. Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Cliff Jones. I am one of the senior assistant deans in UNC Advising. I was here first as an undergraduate student and have been working in various roles within advising for the last 9 years. Trying to get back to the original screen. I'm not sure why the slides are advancing, but we'll get it back together. I now have the honor and privilege of representing our team of Thrive Advising personnel who support the nearly 20,000 undergraduate students in the College of Arts and Sciences. Here we go. We're going back. We're getting it together. Sorry about that, everyone. I'm really excited to be here today. I'll cover a few topics before turning it over to my colleagues. And so in my portion of our presentation, we'll discuss who we are and how we in advising can support your student. We'll discuss milestones and challenges associated with the transition from year one to year two, and then campus resources your students should be aware of. So in advising, students can connect with our advisors in multiple ways. We do operate out of three primary locations on campus: Steele Building and the Hickerson House, which are on North Campus, and the seminar wing of the Hardin Residence Hall, which is on South Campus. We primarily interact with students through scheduled advising appointments, and those can be either in person or virtual. We have found that our virtual appointment offerings are quite popular with students, gives them the flexibility they need to engage with us wherever they are on campus or in the world. We also offer daily drop-in advising that's virtual only, but it allows students an additional touch point if they have quicker questions that don't require an appointment. Additionally, our advising team members send regular communications to their caseloads, informing them of timely updates, announcements, and other things that students should be aware of at certain points throughout the semester. So from students, we encourage and expect students to be curious, to ask questions, to develop an understanding of university policies that may impact and affect them, and take advantage of the many resources available to them on campus. And so we found that when students are engaged with advising, and so by engaged, I say typically one meeting per semester, they understand academic policies and options, and then they have the tools to make sound decisions. So more detail about how we support your student. So the mission of UNC Advising is to champion your student's individual story through purposeful interaction so that they achieve their academic, personal, and post-UNC goals. And so we partner with students to help them unlock their potential, activate their plans, secure their opportunities, and cultivate community. So in unlocking their potential, we work with students to increase their self-awareness through assessing their values, skills, interests, and abilities. And we do that through various conversations, but also assessments that we offer to students through a couple of things, UNC Career Center, but also our Intro IDST 101 foundational course that students take. So that's something that students are able to engage in. In activating their plans, we partner with students to create an individualized dynamic plan that includes coursework and experiences as it relates to those values and skills and interests. And then for securing their opportunities, our goal is for each student to leave Carolina in position to be a competitive applicant in the job search or graduate school program. And finally, UNC is full of wonderful opportunities and individuals. And so we encourage your students to make connections with faculty, with resources, and other students to build their community and their support system at the university level. So how can we apply those four pillars to student experiences as they transition specifically from their first year to their second? So what does that actually look like? So in unlocking their potential, by this point or by the end of this semester, let's say, it's important for students to at least have a very solid understanding of the general education curriculum and the required courses. They also should be completed with or close to completing their first year foundations. Additionally, last summer at New Student Orientation, we talked about first year being all about exploration. Well, that exploration doesn't magically end after their first year. So we encourage students to continue exploring as they continue to grow and develop and evolve. So do their interests and their strengths. And so they may have a great plan for their major pathway, but there's typically room to continue exploring in their areas of interest, and that may unlock a minor or other related experiences. In activating their plans, we encourage students to connect with at least one campus resource beyond academic advising. And in a minute, I will introduce you to a few of those. We also help them to create a detailed plan for their sophomore courses and learn about and apply for application-based majors and minors. And then sometimes students believe that high impact experiences like study abroad, internships, or work experience are things that come later in their academic careers. And that may be true for some or many, but sophomore year is a great time to begin learning about and pursuing some of those types of opportunities. And then lastly, we strongly encourage students to participate regularly in at least one campus organization. And I say regularly because we believe that quality is oftentimes better than quantity when it comes to student involvement. We want students to involve themselves with things they feel passionate about versus maybe intermittent participation in a lot of things they don't feel as connected to. We also encourage students to connect with at least one faculty member in a field of interest. And these are perhaps some of the most important connections students can make in identifying their fit in a particular career field. And so, yes, of course, these are all great milestones that we hope students achieve. But along the way, students very well may experience challenges or obstacles, and we are here to support them through it. So we get lots and lots of questions from students and families about what to do if they don't get admitted to the professional school of their choice. That could be the business school, public health, media and journalism, nursing, computer science. The first thing that we typically tell students is this is not the end. Their intended career pathway is not permanently blocked. And then we say, let's reset, let's reflect, let's clarify, and then let's create a plan for moving forward. Some of the things that are important to note related to professional school applications and admissions, some programs do allow students to reapply during the next admission cycle. So that could be an option if your student is interested in continuing to pursue that program. UNC also offers a lot of programs in the College of Arts and Sciences that allow students to gain related knowledge, skills, and experiences to those in our professional schools. And so advisors often work with students to connect them with alternative options. And that often occurs even before students apply to professional schools. And there are tons of options available with comparable career outcomes. So we work with students to identify some of those areas and help them continue planning to move forward toward their career. And then also some professional schools allow students to take courses in their department, even if the student was not admitted to the school. So that can be an additional way for students to get some of those knowledge and skills and experiences, even outside of those professional schools. So business is one that, as an example, non-majors can take up to one business class per semester in that way. And then sometimes students don't earn the grades they anticipate. And when that happens, they are certainly not alone. We work with students to continue to identify alternative pathways to postgraduate programs or careers. For some students, changing their major is an appropriate step, and we work with students on how to make those decisions and how to actually change that major and get connected with their new plan of action and their new pathway. And then there are some situations where students no longer meeting are no longer meeting academic eligibility requirements. And so we help students navigate those processes through consistent outreach and support and guidance as they navigate those processes. And I'll be happy to answer more questions about these challenges and other challenges during the discussion zone later. And then when challenges arise that are outside of our areas of expertise, we happily connect students with other campus resources at the university. So student life and leadership is the place to go if your student is feeling unconnected on campus, if they're looking to get involved or connect with other students with similar interests. Heal Life, the website listed there, heallife.unc.edu, compiles a database of all student organizations and campus events, both in person and virtual. So that's a really, really great place for your students to become familiar with. Secondly, the UNC Career Center, they offer career planning, career coaching, support with job and internship opportunities and searches, interview prep, resume guidance, literally everything related to careers, all of the above. One thing I would say, and it's important to say, is it's never too early. We often hear students saying, oh, I'm waiting until my junior year, or I'm waiting until my senior year to engage with the UNC Career Center. It's never too early. Students don't have to wait until then. They can engage with that even now as first year students, especially as they transition into their sophomore year. The USC Student Wellness is another great campus partner, campus resource. I think it's maybe underutilized by students, but it offers education, programming, and coaching across the 8 dimensions of wellness. So career, spiritual, environmental, social, physical, financial, emotional, and intellectual. So all of the ways in which your student should be well and should be engaging in wellness. They have professional staff and peers who provide that programming and coaching for students in that way. Counseling and psychological services, which we call CAPS. They provide a range of mental health services to students to support them throughout the semester. One thing that they typically say when they are marketing their services is that students don't have to be in crisis to reach out. They work with students and help students navigate stress, emotions, relationships, transitions, all the things that I think all people go through, but especially our students, as they're navigating those areas of life. And last but not least, the Center for Student Success, and this is probably, well, I would say this is by far my most frequently referred office. I really do love sending students there, and I'm not just saying that because Alex and Julie are here, but it is a really great resource for students, and I won't steal their shine. I'll actually go ahead and turn it over to Alex from the Center for Student Success to discuss all of the resources and support they offer students.
Thank you, Cliff, and I'm sure that was extremely genuine. We work very closely with advising and value everything advising does as well. I'm Alex Fun. I'm one of the assistant directors along with Julie here in the Center for Student Success, which contains the Writing and Learning Center. Can I? Oh, good. All right. The Center for Student Success contains the Writing and Learning Center, which Julie and I will spend most of our time talking about. But we also wanted to mention that it is the home to some other important programs at UNC, including support for Carolina First, which is how we refer to first generation college students, summer bridge program, and transfer student support. So Julie and I will tell you mostly about Writing and Learning Center services today, but we just want to mention that these other great programs exist and are located within the Center for Student Success. So, um, Cliff mentioned that it's never too early to get connected with campus resources. And that's one of the things that we frequently emphasize with students and that we hope you might remind your student of as they approach their sophomore year. So we typically see about 25% of the undergraduate student population in the Writing and Learning Center each year. And before any given class graduates, we typically see over 50% of undergraduates. So at some point, they'll have used at least one writing and learning service before they graduate. But we're really here working on that other 50%. We hope to see everybody, and it's never too early to seek out academic support, and we hope that we can get in touch with students early in their career here because we know that once we do, they're more likely to come back and take advantage of it again and again once they make that initial point of contact. So if they come to use a Writing and Learning Center service, they're in good company. We had over 14,000 one-on-one appointments in the past year. This year, we're tracking to have a similar amount of appointments, and all of our services are free, included in the price of admission for students to attend. They just have to simply know about them and sign up through our website. So we'll talk a little bit more about each of those individual services that break down. So we have academic coaching, writing coaching, and peer tutoring, which I'll tell you a little bit about. And then Julie will move in and talk to you more about our group offerings, which include support for ADHD and LD. English language support is here within the Writing and Learning Center. STEM support, which we call our STEMpire because they offer such vast academic support for STEM courses. And then we have a really great workshop series that students can take advantage of as well. So I'll start with writing coaching, which is my neck of the woods here. And what we offer is one-on-one appointments that are either in person. So we have two offices where we have individual writing coaching appointments in the SASB North building and in Greenlaw. But we are also available via Zoom. So all students have to do is Google UNC Writing Center, click Make an Appointment, fill out a few bits of information, and they can find a location and time that works for them. We also have an asynchronous online feedback service where students can upload a draft and a writing coach will write back to them kind of in the style of a letter and give them personalized feedback. So if they want to come in person, if they want to work with us on Zoom, or if they want asynchronous feedback, there are different ways that they can get in touch and get writing support for any type of writing at any stage of the writing process. So any writing coach can help with any type of writing, whether it's a first year English 105 essay, or it's a application to the business school or graduate school, a cover letter, whatever text a student is working on, they can get feedback. And we always say every writer needs a reader. So I did my PhD at UNC and frequently took advantage of writing coaching and academic coaching for my dissertation. So whether someone is just starting out and feeling unconfident as a writer, or they're writing a dissertation and at a higher level, and you can still benefit from feedback, getting outside of your head and talking to another person about whatever it is you're working on. And we can help with any issue in writing. So if students want to work on organization of a draft, we can help with that. If they want feedback on how well the draft is meeting the requirements of a prompt, we can give input on that and work with them there. If they want help with more mechanical things like grammar or punctuation, we are good with that. Our goal is that whoever walks in the door, we're helping them leave with a new skill, some way that they've grown as a writer over the course of the session. We want them to get better at something each time they come to work with us. Academic coaching has a very similar approach. Academic coaches here in the Learning Center. So we have two main websites where students sign up for individual appointments. The Writing Center website, again, you can just Google UNC Writing Center. Will take you to writing coaching. The Learning Center website will take you to academic coaching or peer tutoring. So academic coaching, again, one-on-one appointments with a fantastic team of professional coaches, including full-time staff and graduate students. Some of these coaches have a STEM specialty, others have ADHD specialty, others are general academic coaches who can help with any issue that students bring in that they want to talk about. The most common thing that students come to for academic coaching to talk about is time management, just managing all the different time stresses and schedules that they encounter as a student. They can come in and map out their life and work with an academic coach about what they're doing this week, this semester, and kind of get perspective and get their schedules under control. We also help with study habits, reading strategies, test taking strategies, again, STEM support, ADHD support. So any aspect of their life as a student, students can come in and talk to a super friendly, approachable, smart, knowledgeable academic coach. And we should, sorry, I got stuck. And peer tutoring is our third individual service that we wanted to talk about. And our peer tutors are available to help with over 100 courses at UNC. And these are students, the peer tutors are students who have gotten training and being a peer tutor, but who have also succeeded in the courses that they tutor for. So peer tutoring has more of a content focus. So students can come in and get help with a range of the most challenging courses, everything from chemistry to biology to foreign languages, computer sciences. We have peer tutors, a team that are available to help students work through challenges in any of those courses. And all of these appointments, again, are very easy. If you just Google UNC Writing Center, UNC Learning Center, you can easily sign up. This is a screenshot of what it looks like when you're in our calendar system. You can see the availability of location, which coach or tutor you're selecting, and just pick something that works for you. And Julie is going to tell you a little bit more now about our group offerings. So I talked about individual services. Julie will talk to you about Writing and Learning Center group programs now.
Great. Thank you so much, Alex. And we just have a few more minutes of this presentation portion before we break out into our discussion groups, where we're excited to hear your questions and go into more detail. So in terms of our groups, I want to mention the STEM groups. Alex mentioned that we have one-on-one STEM support. We also have collaborative learning groups that are very popular and well attended for a number of biology courses, chemistry courses, math, and physics. And so your students may be in these courses now, they may be taking them next semester, and a lot of these courses are very big, and these collaborative learning groups in our learning center are a smaller group environment where, you know, they might have anywhere between 15 and maybe 50 people if it's an exam review, but the facilitators are academic coaching specialists on our staff with advanced degrees in these disciplines, and they work with them they dig into kind of particularly thorny problems, help them work collaboratively to solve the problem, and then help them apply the strategies they used on those problems to other problems so that they can be successful in those classes. So in addition, we have our ADHD and learning disability specialists who, in addition to one-on-one coaching with students, they also run a couple of social groups. One is our weekly Peer Connect group where they can gather with a small group, usually just 5 to 10 students, to share strategies for dealing with ADHD and learning disabilities in college. And these groups are open to folks regardless of whether they have a diagnosis. Some students have a diagnosis. Some students feel like they might have a cluster of things that they're handling in their academic life that makes them think maybe they have ADHD or a learning disability, and all are welcome. You do not have to have a diagnosis to attend. We also have a monthly group called ADHD Me and UNC, which is a social group to get to know the academic coaches and other students who identify as having ADHD or think they may have ADHD, and they can kind of interact in a more social, low-key environment and decide if they want to follow up with some of our other services. We also have an annual Burnett seminar where we have a specialist come in this year, Holden Thorpe, who's the former chancellor of UNC, who was diagnosed with autism in his 50s, came and spoke to a packed crowd about his experience as a professional and in academia with autism. And so every year we host a different specialist in this field. I also want to mention that we don't do diagnoses here. Some students, once they're in college and are learning more about themselves as learners, get curious about whether they might have a learning disability or ADHD. They are welcome to come and make an appointment with one of our specialists and talk about the diagnosis process, and we will help them find the resources if they decide they want to pursue diagnosis elsewhere. We also have open workshops and groups on different topics. For instance, next week we're having one about motivation. We're having one about digital distractions. We have one about final exam prep. And so those are just open events that students can come to and learn a little bit about studying and being a successful student, and they're run by our staff. At finals time, we have something called Finals Boot Camp, which is actually not very tough at all. It's more of like get snacks and study with your friends. A lot of students find once they're here at Carolina that they really benefit from studying in a group setting where there are other people around who are also locked in. That helps motivate them. It helps them stay focused. And so we invite your students to come for these programs as well. In addition, you all can access, and your students can access, the many, many tip sheets that we have that are used really around the world. We have high school students using these. We have international universities using these. They're on everything from how to write a thesis statement to how to organize your day effectively. And so we encourage you to take a look at our website and read about these, read about different study strategies. And also our peer tutors talk about their own experiences learning and writing through our blog. Alex mentioned these programs earlier that are also part of our center. I'm not going to talk about these as much today because they're more relevant for incoming students. The one I will mention is Carolina First, because it's a program for the roughly 20% of our student body who are first generation college students. If you have questions about how to get involved with that program, feel free to reach out to one of us. And these are our contact information, and any of these will get to a human being and we can answer any questions that you have about our programs. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Once again, folks, Justin Insco, New Student and Family Programs. I want to say thank you to Cliff, to Alex, to Julie, and their students who are here, Ella and Christine. We've now hit a moment where if you'd like to chat with them in smaller groups, we're going to break out into what we're calling discussion zones. So Alex from the Writing Center, as well as Ella, will be in a breakout room called Growing as a Writer Through Writing Coaching. Cliff will be in a breakout room titled Advising, Partnering Together for Student Success. And finally, Julie and Christine will be in a group called Supporting Successful Study Habits. So what a wonderful opportunity for you to kind of engage a little bit and think about how your student can leverage these resources and these great teams to gain that Carolina advantage. Okay, so what I'm going to do is point you to our chat where my colleague Rosemary has put those breakout room people and topic names so that you can refer to it. I am now going to open those breakout rooms, and you should see a prompt on your screen. Hey folks, welcome back in. Sorry to cut the rooms. If you were having a really good conversation, my apologies. Hopefully you can get that continued in some form or shape afterward. Let's see, is everyone back in? I think so. Awesome. Once again, mega thanks to our presenters and facilitators, Cliff, Alex, Julie, and our students who attended, Maddie, Croft, Ella, and Christine. For those of you who attended, that main session that started was recorded. We'll review it, edit it, make sure that it's appropriate, send that out as a recap to you, including the slides that we shared on the video. And also folks who registered but couldn't make it today would receive that as well. So you'll get some nice reminders of what was shared. Anything asked or shared in the breakout room was not reported, kind of like Vegas, if you will, right? What happens in breakout rooms, I think, stays in breakout rooms, but we did not record that. So that is for you and you alone. Quick recap for us. We have other Heels at Home webinar series with folks registering. Those registrations stay live up until 2 days before the event. You can find those details at go.unc.edu/heelsathome. We have 3 more for the remainder of the spring semester. The next is Budgeting Tarheels on March 12th, featuring some folks from our Financial Wellbeing Center. Tarheels Online on Thursday, April 2nd, featuring some folks connected to our violence prevention advocacy services to talk about how our students and maybe even our teens and folks at home are engaging online in ways to be a bit more safe and aware of what's happening. And finally, to round out this series, April 16th, that Thursday at noon, Healthy Tar Heels. So focusing a bit more on student safety, student well-being, and wellness in general. Please join us if you can. Please share with your communities if they have students they are supporting here. Thank you again to all of our presenters. Thank you all for attending. Have a great rest of your Thursday and weekend ahead. Take care.
Thank you.